criteria to say any object as a matter? First thing is it should occupy space. Second thing, it should have definite mass. And the third thing, it can be sensed by any of our five senses. Then all these properties, whichever the object has or possesses, all those objects we call as matter. I told you one completely different example of matter. What was that? Completely different example of a matter I told you. What was that? Smell of a perfume.
Book.
Book. Smell of a perfume. Book. All those things, whatever you can see around us, that is okay. What about air and smell of perfume? Air is a matter. Now question is asked.
Yes, ma'am.
Air is considered as a matter. Justify this statement. So what justification you will give? It can be sensed, we can inhale, or with the help of moving air, we can sense it. When we see the shaking of the branches of the tree, leaves of the trees, we can say that is leaves. Why they are moving? Because the air is moving. So by that we can sense it. It has a mass. That mass we can test it with the help of filled balloon. And then thirdly, it occupies space. The entire area around the earth has been occupied by this air. So therefore, air is a matter. Then next is smell of a perfume. Always ask question. Explain out of which is a matter. So in that different examples are given. So what about the smell of a perfume? Only smell when it is considered? No. But smell of a perfume consists of some gaseous particles. So those particles have taken place between the air. That's the reason they have moved and reached our nose. So therefore, smell of a perfume, which consists of a particular particles, is a matter, right? Now we have seen, after that we have seen some properties of matter. First properties, every matter is made up of small tiny particles. So every matter we know that is you have learned earlier atoms and molecules. Now by that we can find out that is every matter is made up of small tiny particles called as atoms or molecules. Elements is small constituent. The smaller particles of elements are atoms and of compounds is molecules. Atoms and molecules are present in any substance. So that is a matter made up of small tiny particles called as atoms or molecules. Secondly, and that we have seen or verified with the help of activity, potassium permanganate activity we have done. When we keep on changing the amount of more and more water, when we keep adding into potassium permanganate solution, its color keep on fading. So that happens because the potassium permanganate particles are keep on breaking into smaller and smaller and smaller particles. As soon as we add water, it will break down. Again, we add water, it will move, it will convert into small pieces. When you add again, it will get some more particles will separate from each other. So when we see that it's completely faded, but still we see the shade of purple color. So that shade of purple color at the end, that also says that the particles are there. They have been completely separated from each other. So the darkness they lost. Darkness is because when they are clubbed together. And they fade because when they separate from each other. Here. Second one, they have space between the particles. So every particles of the matter have space between them. That is also we have verified with the help of adding sugar or salt into water. So when we add sugar or salt in water, so where it has disappeared? So that first breaks down into smaller particles and those particles are collected in between the space present in water molecules. In between the water molecules, whatever the space was there, so it is accumulated. So those sugar particles will move and take those space. This is the reason when we add 1 spoonful of sugar in water, then also level of water won't change. It remains same. Okay? Only 1 spoon in 100 ml, no change. But when you keep on increasing, then it won't happen. then the level of water keep on increasing. Okay. Then third property is the particles of matter are in continuous random motion. Particles of matter, the third property, they are not stable. Particles of matter are not stable. They are continuously in motion. They are not stagnant. Any particle if you take a solid particle, liquid substance, liquid matter, solid matter, or gaseous matter, they are all the particles, either it is solid, liquid, or gas, they are continuously in motion. They are in motion. How can we say that? It is in motion. In the activity, you have seen that the particles are moving, particles of the matter are keep moving. Exactly. So we are to take bromine vapors. Bromine is actually brown color gas. A brown color liquid. Vapors of bromine we have to take, which are the brownish color, orange brown color like that. We have to take two cylinders. One cylinder filled with. Can we take one cylinder? Cover it. Properly cover it. Here there are the bromine brownish color. Brown color. It's actually orange. Orange brown color. Bromine is present. Bromine vapors are present. Which are colored vapor we have taken. And then invert it over another cylinder having air. So one cylinder having air and over that invert it here.
Ma'am,
Here the bromine.
ma'am, we are not able to see what you're writing in the board.
Yeah, fine. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
In the cylinder there bromine gases are present. Bromine is present. Bromine vapors are present. Here the bromine vapors are present. And over that we have to invert another cylinder having air. Lower cylinder has bromine, orange color vapors, and the upper one is air, which is empty. We can't see anything in that. So when you invert one above the other, what we will see, these bromine vapors will move in the same direction. The full cylinder, both of them together, will become brown, orange color. It gets filled with orange color. This means what happens? This bromine and air mix with each other. Bromine is moving, but they are now these bromine vapors are in motion. So therefore, easily bromine moved upward, air moves downward, and they mix with each other. And that this happens because of the movement. Particles are in motion, that's the reason that happens. Now suppose someone has sprayed a very strong perfume and moved this way, from this classroom. What will happen? You can smell it immediately. Person is not near you. He has applied perfume, but he moved on. So he is going there. He has perfume, but you are sitting at different distance. You are able to feel that. No, sir. Why that happened? Because the particles of perfume has crossed that area. It mixed with air and reaches your nose. Because of the movement only this has happened, right? Another example, when the food is stale, vegetable was prepared 3-4 hours back, 3-4 hours back and kept closed. To smell, can you get that smell? No. Gulab jamuns are prepared, but in the morning, and you came back from the school. Can you feel that smell? No. But if your mother is preparing gulab jamun when you are at home, you will immediately get the smell. That aroma you can easily find out that you are sitting in your room, then also you can get the smell and you immediately leave your studies and go back to kitchen. So why that happened? Because the smell of that, the particles of that food, hot sizzling food, when it is hot, It can easily travel through the air. It get easily mixed with air, and through the air, it has traveled to some distance. So it from the in the far distance also you easily recognize that. Or maybe the incense stick. So incense stick when it is not lit, incense stick agarbatti. Dhoop. When it is kept, it is not lit. It is not lit. It is kept in the puja room inside the cupboard. Can you get the smell out from outside? No. But immediately when you lit it, once in the morning time, when anyone do puja, they lit that incense stick. Then is it necessary to go near that? No, we are not supposed to go near that. We are sitting in the other room. Then also we can get the smell of that. Why that happened? Because the particles of incense stick have traveled through the air. When it is lit, actually what happens, particles when are in motion, they have one energy called as kinetic energy. Any object when it is in motion has a particular type of energy called as kinetic energy. So the generally most kinetic energy is present in the gaseous particles. So the particle whichever has more kinetic energy can travel in the longer distance. And that kinetic energy of the particle will increase with increase in temperature. So as the temperature of the object or particle increases, its kinetic energy increases, then it will travel a longer distance. Okay. So that means already every particle is in motion. Due to that, it will possess kinetic energy. But due to heating, the temperature of that object, that particle increases. This means that heat energy, to increase temperature, heat energy what we have provided, it gets converted into kinetic energy. And due to increased kinetic energy, now particles will start moving a larger distance. So therefore, when incense stick is not lit, it is kept at one place. To smell that, to smell its aroma, we have to go closer. We have to go closer because the temperature is less. It has kinetic energy, but very less. But as soon as we lit it, if we are providing heat energy, so temperature of the incense stick increases, kinetic energy of the particle increases, then it will travel a long distance. And therefore, lit incense stick aroma, you can smell it from a longer distance also. Okay. Same thing happens with the colder food. Food is when it is cold and when it is hot food. So when it is cold, to smell it, we have to go closer. To get its aroma, we need to go closer. And then only with near your nose that food has to be taken, then only you can get that. But when the same food, when it is heated up, its temperature increases, particles' kinetic energy increases, and then it will travel those particles through the air, travel longer distance, and we can get that smell from farther distance also. Okay. So every particle of the matter is in continuous random motion, and this motion increases with increase in temperature because kinetic energy due to providing more amount of heat energy, kinetic energy of the particle increases. Clear? And due to that, the diffusion process also will increase. Now you will ask me what is diffusion? Diffusion is again one physical process. This process, the process in which intermixing of particles takes place by their own. The intermixing of particles by the different types of particles, air and incense stick particles, they mix with each other by their own. We are not steered it. We are not steering anything in the air. By their own, it is mixing and moving away. So this process is called as diffusion. Or take one drop of ink, put it in water. Without stirring, what happens? When you see, we don't stir anything. Or any color, or holy color, just now you have played. So one drop of that add into water. What happens after some time? It completely get mixed. We don't need to stir. We have to keep it as it is. Within 5 minutes, it will completely get mixed with each other. So here water particles and that color particles completely get mixed with each other by its own. Ink droplet has millions of particles. So ink droplet mixed with water by their own. You don't need to stir it. We keep it inside water, one drop only we put it, and then we keep that water as it is with the undisturbed. After some time, we can see that the full water becomes blue in color. That's in color. It will be. That is because of diffusion. That is called as diffusion. Different gases of air. Air is made up of many different gases. Oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. So they all are present everywhere. Or we can say that oxygen is present only in this corner, carbon dioxide is present in that corner. No, they haven't completely mixed with each other everywhere. This means it is diffusion of gases taken place. Clear? So intermixing of particles by their own is called as diffusion. And this diffusion happens due to the space between the particles. Secondly, due to the random motion of the particles. Clear? And this rate of diffusion, intermixing, will increase with increase in temperature. As we increase the temperature, space between the particles keep on increasing, and mixing will happen more because of the another process property, that is because of increased kinetic energy. Particles' kinetic energy increases, so they can easily mix into the another type of particles. Okay. So third property you have seen, that is particles of matter are in continuous random motion. They are not stable. Anything if you take as a solid also, iron, although iron particles, iron chair, although the iron is compactly packed, in solid we see that particles are compactly packed with each other. That means they are not moving. They are not moving. They are in motion there also, but very minor. They are only vibrating. They are only vibrating to and fro or up and down. They in solid particles or solid state also, the particles are moving. Only the motion is less. We have to see inside that. When you do it, sugar when it is added to water, what happens? What happens? So if they are not moving, then without steering, will the salt particles will mix? They are in motion, therefore they have moved toward the water and taken the place. Right? Salt. Sugar we need to, suppose we need to steer it. But is it salt? It is needed. Ink. Solid ink, we take it, powdered ink. Then also it can mix. How can it be? That is because of motion. They are in motion, therefore they create ink. You can see here. Here you can see solid particle. We have added color, which is in solid liquid, not liquid. The solid powder, solid. We have added in this. You can see the movement. Okay, so that is because of the movement of solid particles. But they are very minutely moving up and down. Vibratory motion. The only solid possess only vibrational motion. But in liquid and in gaseous state, they are moving, vibrating also, and they are moving, they are leaving their place also. So they are in liquid, they are in motion, they can flow. That means they have the space, somewhat more space than solid. So they show vibratory motion, vibrational motion, as well as translation motion. Translatory motion also see that. Translatory, that means they are keeping their space, moving away from their space or place also. So liquids and gases can show more motion than solids. Clear? Then the fourth property is every particle of the matter attract each other. Every particle of matter always attract other particles. How can we say? The attraction is there always. So due to that attraction only we can see that is the object possess its definite shape. Shape of the solid remain constant. Why? Because of the force of attraction between them. So solid particles are very close to each other. Why they are close to each other? Why they have a definite shape? This shape is definite. It won't change. Tomorrow I will come. It will not bend. It will remain same only. Why it is so? Because every particle around itself, whatever the number of particles are present, they apply force of attraction on each other. Because of they remain binded to each other. Water drop also, if I will put it here, will it immediately spread out everywhere? Only one water droplet I will put it will stay there only. Constantly it will bind itself. Water when we pour into one container. So here some amount of water is present. It will be there somewhat flowing, but if I am not flowing, what happens? They all together or some droplets here, there is happening. So it is present. When we pour water in this one, it will remain in the stable position. So why it is so? Because every particle is applying force of attraction, therefore they are sticking together. They stick to each other because of the force of attraction between them. It depends on the object to object, matter to matter, this force of attraction changes. Somewhere it is very high and somewhere it is very less. If we see the structure of suppose iron, if you take iron ball, you take another, you take chalk powder, and the third one you take rubber. Iron particle, iron ball. Is it easy to break? With the hammering, can we break it? Iron ball or iron box is there. Can you break that with hammering? By one hammering, one time only you hammer and it will break. Happens? No. Chalk, immediately break into pieces. Rubber, if you stretch it, what will happen? Immediately it will break. When you stretch a lot, it will immediately break because of the difference in their force of attraction. So in iron, the force of attraction is too high. So by hammering, stretching, anything, it won't break. Okay. But in case of chalk, only simple hammer, once you hammer it, or with your hand also if you crush it, it will get crushed into powder. Because of force of attraction between the chalk particles is less. And rubber, they are there, we have to stretch it. After stretching it will break. Because again the force of attraction is less. Okay. So force of attraction, every matter, like it's solid, liquid or gas, they have force of attraction, but depend in solids, particles are very closely packed. In them, the force of attraction is too high. So that's the reason they are binded together with very little space. In liquid, the force of attraction is somewhat lesser compared to solid. So that's the reason they are able to flow. And in gases, it's too it's negligible. Force of attraction is negligible. That's the reason it can move anywhere randomly. Easily it can move. Right? So force of attraction, but still in gases also force of attraction is there. But minimum, very less. So these are the four properties of matter. So first property is every matter is made up of small, tiny particles. Second, every matter have a space between the particles, which we call as intermolecular space. Third one, third property, they are in particles of matter are always in continuous random motion. And the fourth one, always all the particles of matter always attract each other or always applies force of attraction on each other. So this force is called intermolecular force of attraction. Fire, yes. Yes. Fire is a particle circle. No, so fire is a light energy. It is the energy. Actually, it is the energy. But which is producing this one? Which is producing that energy? That energy is produced by chemical reaction between particles. So as a fire only we consider it's energy. Fire is energy, not a matter. Only fire is considered, it is not a matter. But the fire is produced, that is the energy. Fire is actually the energy, light energy. Heat and light energy is produced in that. But it is produced due to particles, chemical reaction between the particles. Okay. Full power property is clear. Diffusion clear. The diffusion depends on the rate of diffusion. That means the how fastly any two objects mix with each other. Depends on which factors present on kinetic energy. Okay, that is the temperature. We call it as a temperature. More the temperature of the object, more will be the rate of diffusion. And second, it is depends on the nature of the material. If it is solid, they won't mix with each other. Very rarely that happens. In some of the cases. Now I have written here. If I will try this with erasing it. Here it will completely erase. But at this place, not getting erased. Why it is happening? So if I want to suppose on a blackboard, once it is written somewhere, on these boards also, some of the boards might not test because of that. What happens when you write with those chalk on a board and leave it for 10, 12 months, 1 year, approximately 1 year, if you don't erase it, then after that erasing is impossible. Because some particles of matter, that is a chalk, some particles of chalk get mixed into that whiteboard particles. So sometimes, rarely, diffusion can be seen in solid, but very rare. In liquid, diffusion is more as compared to solid. So, what are the examples of diffusion in liquid? You can say copper sulfate and water, right? And salt and sugar mixed into water, solid mixed into water. Potassium permanganate in water, we have seen, right? Here the solids, okay, these are the solids, ink and water. Then liquid into liquid, examples, liquid get diffused in liquid. Tanishi, can you tell the example of liquid get diffused in liquid? Liquid,
Lime water and water.
Yeah.
water and water, okay. That is the lime juice, citric acid that we call as a lemon juice and water. Both are liquid into liquid. Ink, liquid ink and water, okay. Yes, any squashes, ruafza, rasta, whatever when we add into water, they mix in each other. Okay. Then it is any alcohol mixed with water, possible. Two liquids, immiscible liquids, can mix perfume into water, possible. Okay. So liquid into liquid, gas into liquid. Surya. Surya. Gas into water, liquid. Any examples where gas is diffused in liquid?
Ma'am, by
Oxygen.
cooking, the food particles get like
Gas
cooking any curry, it get diffused into the air.
air is given moving out of that. I'm asking mixing of gas into liquid.
Ma'am, and water?
In water, okay, you can consider in water.
Ma'am, carbon dioxide into juice.
Carbon dioxide is diffused in water, right? So
Oh.
organisms are absorbing oxygen, which is diffused in water. That's the reason they are alive. And they are giving out carbon dioxide because of the diffusion only it is moving out of the water. Otherwise, it can move mixed with water. That's the reason they are able to exhale. Otherwise, they can't. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are dissolved in water. That is the example of gas into liquid. Maximum diffusion is seen in gas into gas. Mixing means what happened here? There should be space. Then only two particles get mixed with each other. So gas has maximum space due to minimum force of attraction. Force of attraction between gas particles is very less. So the gas particles are very away from each other. So space between gas particle is much lesser. Sorry, much more. Force of attraction is less. So space is much more. So easily any solid, liquid, gaseous substances can easily diffuse with gaseous substances. We have seen air. Air has dust particles. Air has liquid smoke particles. Air has liquid water vapors also. Air has different gases also get mixed with each other. And we can see also dust particles is there in front of us. We are not seeing. So properly the dust particles get mixed into air particles. Clear? So diffusion. So diffusion depends on material to material. Just like easily when you add ink or salt, it easily mixed with water. But you add honey, into honey, if you add salt or sugar, diffusion will be difficult. So it is depends on the material in which you are trying to diffuse. Clear? Are these four points clear? Diffusion clear? Clear question can be asked on this part. That is there is a question in NCERT they have asked. That is to smell any cold food, we need to go closer. But hot sizzling food smell can be taken from farther distance also. It can reach the person sitting at farther distance also. What is the reason for that? To smell a cold food, we need to go closer. But hot sizzling food smell can reach a person sitting very far away as well. So what is the reason behind that?
More temperature.
More temperature, more kinetic energy.
Okay, more temperature. So you have to tell about two things here. One thing for cold. Why for cold we need to go closer? One reason for that. And what happens in hot food? Why it reaches. So two reasons you have to tell. So to smell a cold food, we need to go closer because the temperature is less. The kinetic energy of the particles are less. So rate of diffusion with air particles is lesser. Therefore, it cannot travel long distance. So for that, we need to go closer. But in case of hot sizzling food, temperature of that food is more. Rate of kinetic energy of the particle is more. So rate of diffusion increases and therefore it can travel a long distance. So the kinetic energy word should come in your answer. If it is not there, no teacher will give you any. Rate of diffusion, kinetic energy. So these words are important words. Lesser cold food, lesser kinetic energy, rate of diffusion is lesser. Hot food, kinetic energy is more, so rate of diffusion is more. Therefore, they can travel longer distance. Clear? So write these points. Yes, we are occupying space. Can I make you sit anyone here on your space? You are occupying space. You have marks. I can see you. You can see me. And I am a matter. Force of attraction. They're closely packed, very closely packed. In honey, they're very closely packed structure. Force of attraction in the honey particles are more as compared to any other. And even glycerin also if you take. Glycerin also when you pour, it slowly get poured. Glycerin also is thicker because of the viscosity. One part will come under the viscosity, another one is there force of attraction between the particles. You have written the second point. The second point you have written. This activity no need to write. Yes, third property.
Ma'am, can we say like this that thick particles have more force of attraction and smaller in size?
Few particles have.
Ma'am, few particles.
Can't hear you properly. Come again. Much more noise backside. Yes, tell again. Yes, who was speaking? Who was that?
Ma'am, it was me. Ma'am, I was saying that whether if the particles sizes are small, that means there is more force of attraction. So why there is honey? That's why honey is thick in nature.
Size. It's not always depends on size. Every atom is of similar size. It depends. Its size is bigger, but it's not that much matters in force of attraction. The energy present in them. It depends on the energy present in them. Potential energy present in every particle.
And that means the potential energy changes from particle to particle.
Every particle has different potential energy. Yeah, one page you can do. One page you can do. Particles in matter attract each other. Solid are compactly packed, so they are maintaining their shape. In between the liquids, there is more space. Force of attraction between them is less. They are able to move. And here in gas, the force of attraction is much, much, much lesser. They are randomly move and occupy the full area. They completely cover up the full area. They occupy the full space of the container in which they are there. So whenever you add solid into a container, they always settle at one place. They don't change their shape and size. In case of liquid, what happens? They also always settle down. They won't randomly move here and there. They can't completely occupy the space. They always settle down. They will take the shape of the container, but they always settle down at the bottom of the container. But in case of gas, what happens? Whichever the container you pour, it will occupy the full area. If you take a 1 liter of container having a gas air present in a 1 liter of a container and pour it into a 10 liter of container, then also it will occupy full space of that 10 liter container. Occupy full space occupies because the gaseous particles very little force of attraction between them, so they are not binded with each other. They are moving here and there. So if they get more space, they will completely move away from each other, and you can compress them also. The 1 liter container, whatever the gas is there, you can fill them in a half liter container also. In that case, the particle will come closer. They will come more closer because they don't have space. They crumble to each other. So they get mixed easily. They get space, the space between them reduces. Yes.
I'm having a doubt that why doesn't oil mixes with water when both of the substances have same intermolecular distance?
Can't hear you clearly. Much more noise back.
I wonder why oil does not mixes with water, whereas both of them have the same, I mean, kind of same intermolecular space between them.
Can you speak again?
Ma'am, why doesn't oil mixes with water, whereas both of them have the same intermolecular space?
Air mixed with water.
Water mixes with oil, whereas both have the same intermolecular space.
Density difference. Oil is lighter as compared to water. So water particles are heavier particles. They always settle down. Oil being density of the oil is much lesser.
Okay.
Third point you have written. For the content.
Ma'am,
Tarun, wait for some time. You have a class on this ID only.
this only idea right here. Okay.
This is 7, 6, right? Done. Fourth one, particles of matter are never at
I'm
rest,
just 1 second.
but
I'm just 1 second.
which increases with rise in this one, but are continuously moving in all directions.
Ma'am, can you for the fourth point, ma'am?
This is fourth point. You're able to see on the screen.
Ma'am, that's fifth point, ma'am.
This is fourth, no?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
This is fourth point. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
And diffusion. Intermixing of particles by their own is called diffusion. It depends on temperature and kinetic energy of the particles. Tarun,
Yes, ma'am.
you have biology class on 430 ID.
Ma'am, but the maths class is going on.
Yeah, wait for there only. So
Okay, ma'am.
then it will start. Abhijit? What is static energy? Kinetic energy is the type of energy possessed by motion of the particles, state of motion. When particles are in motion, any object is in motion, it possesses energy called kinetic energy.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood?
One second.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is classification of matter. Matter is divided into they are categorized depending on their physical properties and depending on their chemical properties. So according to physical properties, melting point, boiling point, space, shape, size, mass, volume, kinetic energy. So all those physically, according to physical properties, if we want to divide matter, they have been divided, the matter is divided into solid, liquid and gaseous. So according to when we see the physical properties, external appearance of the matter, if we see, we divide them broadly into three types: solids, liquid and gases. And when we see chemically, so according to chemical properties, that means we have to see inside them how the atoms and molecules are present. In which atoms are present, in which molecules are present, what is the type of that molecules, how are they binded with each other. So in that way, in that respect, we want to categorize them. Then they are categorized as elements, compounds and mixtures. So first, according to physical property wise categorization, properties of these according to physical properties, they have been divided into solid, liquid, gases. So properties of solid, liquid, gases and some related phenomena we have to learn in first chapter. And difference according to chemical properties, that is elements, compounds and mixture wise properties we have to consider, we have to learn in second chapter. Okay. So first chapter, categorization according to physical appearance, solids, liquids and gases. So matter is divided according to physical property into solids, liquids and gases. On which basis we categorize them? So what, how can we say that this is bottle is solid in shape, or this table is solid, this laptop is solid? Why can we say they are solid? So first important criteria will come in front of you is its shape. So according to shape wise, the object which is rigid, incompressible, we can't compress it. They are rigid. They have their definite shape. So all those objects we categorize as solids. Right? The objects which can flow easily, when we keep them, it will start moving immediately. If you pour honey, it will stay at one place. Will it stay at one place? It will keep flowing.
Yes, ma'am.
When you pour water, what will happen? Will it stay at one place? No, it will start flowing. Right? So that means the object which flow but remain together. Which flow but they remain together, connected with each other. So when honey will flow, so it will flow together. All the particles will move together. All the different directions they will go, but together they will move. So such objects which are easy to flow, they cannot maintain their shape. Whichever the object we container we pour them, they will take the shape of them, but have definite volume. Volume of them won't change, and they are almost incompressible. So such objects we categorize as liquids. And the objects which don't have definite shape and which don't have definite volume. So when we pour in one container, they will occupy the full space. From that container, we convert them into different containers. They will again occupy the full space. So their volume won't remain constant. Volume keep on changing. If I fill air in this bottle and I will pour it into the 20-liter jar, it will take the full space. That jar I will empty into a box of a 100 liter box. Then also it will take the full space. So that means volume is keep on changing. So such type of matter we call as gas. So we have to see the differences between solid, liquid and gases, what we have learned also, and we have to see different criteria we have. Physical properties, so we have to check about its shape. Second is difference according to volume. Third is difference according to compressibility, rigidity, compressibility, having density, possessing kinetic energy wise, they are completely different from each other. So instead of studying them separately, we will study them as comparison. We will compare them. So we have to see the comparison between solid, liquid, and gases. So we'll study the properties of solid, liquid, gases as this comparing order. So we'll take it next. So how are the solids different, liquids different, and gases different from each other? That will be learned according to properties. So question can be asked on the differentiating point for 5 marks. They can ask one question based on this for 5 marks. If this chapter is continued this year also. From last 2 years, this chapter is not actually taken. Last chapter class it was there. Last year we have it. This year they told it is there, so it might be there. Okay. So we have to we have to learn in this chapter. Next, we have to learn the properties of solids, liquids, and gases. Then interconversion between these states of matter. Plasma also we have to see, and this for Bose-Einstein condensate also I will explain you. Those are also the matter types of matter. Not only solid, liquid, gases. Although you are learning only solid, liquid, gases, but there are 2 more states of matter are there. One is a plasma, and the second one is Bose-Einstein matter. And also I will explain you. So see this one. Then interconversion between solids, liquids, and gases. So both processes we have to see. By changing temperature, by changing pressure. So what happens by changing pressure? How the changes takes place? Then latent heat. New thing you have to learn is latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. And finally the evaporation. So that's it. The chapter. Small, easy concept. Fine. So we will stop here. Next class will continue with this comparison between solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, any doubt anyone has?
No, ma'am.